My name is Bisola Miriam, and this is my story. In the year 2020, precisely on the 7th of December, I left Nigeria to come to the United States to study. I left Nigeria confused. I left Nigeria pained. I left Nigeria because I was running away from my mother, and I was also running away from my partner. I got here on a fully funded scholarship, but I was not happy. I was not happy because I was pained. I was not happy because there were a lot of things in my life that were not going the way they should. So I got into the United States confused, worried, and yet fell in love. How would a confused person fall in love? How on earth will a confused person fall in love? How on earth does a married woman fall in love? Now, not many or no one or many do not know the background to my story and the struggles that I've had to endure for many years before I came into the US. For context, I was raised in a single parent family, and I was a caregiver even from an early age. My mother was not really present, so I had to take care of myself, take care of my siblings most of the time, while she simply provided food, clothing, shelter, and paid the bills. So when it comes to nurturing, care, I didn't get all of that. In fact, I was giving that out to my siblings. I grew up broken and full of fear, full of hate for my mother, full of hate for my stepfather, full of hate for my stepbrothers, for all that these people did to me. I grew up into a 19-year-old girl who was still very broken. Broken because of everything that happened in my childhood and of course in my teenage years. Broken because I was looking for a father's love. I never knew my father. And just about the time when I was beginning to get to know my father, he died. And so I was even more broken. More broken because at the time when I found someone that genuinely cared about me, that didn't judge me, I lost him to the cold hands of death. Just around that time, I thought that the only way to heal or to get over my pain as a young 19-year-old girl was to immerse myself in activities, chasing goals and dreams and aspirations. And so I contested for an election as a student. I was a sophomore at this time. After campaigning and gaining the support of many people, I lost this election. Now, I didn't lose this election because I didn't work hard or I didn't do the things that I needed to do as a politician. I lost the election because I thought I had fallen in love. I lost this election because I met a man who took my virginity, or perhaps he played the trick or certain tricks on me and then I fell for it. I opened my legs and he had sex with me. And because I was a naive 19-year-old who lost her virginity to a man, a full-grown man who was 30-something, I thought that I'd lost something really precious. And so I was stuck with him, stuck and stuck and stuck. Stuck because I thought, oh, we needed to get married. Stuck because I thought since I'd lost my virginity to this person, then I should be committed to this marriage or to this person. And so we got married. And for close to 10 years, almost a decade, it was more of a whirlwind. Whirlwind because we're living from hand to mouth most of the time. Now, that wasn't even the problem, but the emotional abuse was second to none. The gaslighting was simply unbearable. But because I was full of hate, full of fear for my mother, and I was running away from my mother, there was nowhere else to go but to stay in that marriage. I had to stay. I had to endure because I did not want to be shamed or invalidated or given names by my mother and of course by the society, but more importantly by my mother. And so I stayed in that marriage. I also was thinking of myself as a savior or as someone who was going to end the curse of single parenting in my lineage. And so I had to stay in a toxic and abusive marriage because of the caregiver in me, because of the codependence inside of me. And so coming to study abroad was my way of getting away from the fear from my childhood, my mother, and the hate in my adulthood, my partner. So I got into the US confused. And so I fell in love again. But this time, it was different. It was different from what I felt 10 years ago when I met my partner. It was different because this person did not take advantage of me. Neither did this person try to sleep with me or even kiss or even see my nakedness. It was none of such. Even though all of these were missing, I could not hold myself back from still falling in love with this person. And so in my confusion, I thought the only way to get this feeling out of the way was to confess my truth to a man who for 10 years has never been loyal to me, who for 10 years would make sexual advances to my friends, who for 10 years wasn't there for me, who for 10 years gaslighted me, who for 10 years invalidated me, who for 10 years made me stuck in a trauma bond. But this was a familiar pattern from my childhood. I couldn't leave because I was used to invalidation from my mother, and then invalidation followed by love and affection from my mother. And so getting into a marriage where I was invalidated, abused, and loved and invalidated felt normal. Normal because it was a pattern that I was used to as a young girl. And so I stayed. But when I got here, it was as if there was this feeling of fresh air that I cannot explain right now. Everything changed. Everything became different. I felt free. I felt freedom. I felt different. And I wanted to leave my marriage. It was difficult to ever say I was going to leave because every time I made such statement or affirmative statement that I was done with the relationship was either I was abused emotionally or I was abused physically. I recall a day or so before my interview somewhere in Nigeria when I told this person that I was committed to that I was going to leave this marriage and I was going to get a lawyer. I remember he hit me just right in front of my mother, my siblings, and our kids. I mean, these people do not even have a voice. They can't fight for me. They can't give me justice. And so after everything that I'd had to go through, and even after I remained committed, even after I've met someone who was everything different from who I've lived 10 years of my life with, I still stayed committed. I didn't defile myself. I didn't sleep with anybody. But my body wanted it so much more than my spirit was able to control herself. And I saw that it was either my body was going to take over me, or I tell this person I was committed to. And so speaking my truth became the beginning of a major chaos in my life. However, this chaos even helped me to see clearly that indeed I was simply attached. I was never in love with this person that I've been with for 10 years. Indeed, this chaos helped me to see clearly that it is possible to still find true love. This chaos helped me to see clearly that I was never loved. I was only being used. That I was merely a source of supply. That sex is not love. That everyday sex is not love, is not intimacy, is not genuine love. That you can live with someone for years and a day without that person, you don't even get to miss them. And this is my story. Whether this is familiar or not, there's a reason you have to follow this story for the next 60 days. And even more, there are lessons to learn, especially how everything came crushing right before my very eyes. How things changed, how I received abuse and abuse and abuse and abuse from different quarters. How I could no longer walk around just because I spoke my truth. How being truthful and sincere can make you feel alone. How saying, I want to end this, I want my freedom, I want justice, sometimes can make you feel like you're weird, crazy, perhaps insane. But in the midst of this all, I must tell you the clarity that came along the way. And so in the next 60 days, you would experience my story, the pain, the shame, the invalidation. And most importantly, I'm going to be teaching you in a series that I call one, the childhood trauma series and the narcissistic abuse series. The childhood trauma series will take you through what I've had to endure as a child and how these pain and brokenness from my childhood filled me so much more with hate that I attracted a narcissist into my life. And that is what will lead us into the narcissistic abuse series. And at the end of this, during this 60-day series, I will keep asking and urging you to donate money as I plan to go ahead with my book launch on the 31st of May. I will need your help, not just in telling this story, but most importantly, in launching my book, in revealing my book title, my book cover page, and some other important details that I'm going to be sharing on my birthday. I want you to come with me on this journey because I cannot do this alone. I need you, and I need you to work with me, to walk with me, to go with me on this journey. Let's do this. Thank you. Abundance is here. There is no lack. God bless you. Talk soon.